everybody. Welcome back to the Bukurus. My name is Belia, and I am one half of this beautiful YouTube channel. My husband is on the other side helping us record. Hi, husband, I love you. We are here with an amazing human being. I'll allow her to introduce herself. But today, as you can see from the title down below, we are speaking about buying property in Zambia from the diaspora. So whether you're Zambian, African, whoever you are in the world, you want to come and invest in Zambia. What does that look like, and who do you need to talk to? She's right here. She is right here live and just doing the most. Natasha is an amazing human. I have known her for the longest of time. Her current office, just like a little side thing, I renovated her current office with my previous partner when I was in the property space. Might just jump back in, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so I've known her for a while, so I'm really excited to be doing this video with her. She has years of experience. She's a lawyer. She's got a company. I'm saying too much. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Belia.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm amazing. Talk to us.
you.
Good to see you too, girl. I'm so happy to be here with you. We're gonna have fun.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about some very important stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, who is Natasha, and what should people know about you?
Okay, so I'm Natasha Chiumya, and I am a lawyer, a real estate agent, and a property developer. That's what I do.
Do you hear that? Please tell them how many years of experience you have. Let the people know you are an expert.
So I've been in the property business probably for about 20 years now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So firstly, I started mostly on the legal side.
Okay.
So me and my partner started a law firm, and we did a lot of real estate and property development work. So a lot of the big developments around Lusaka, like Salama Park, Foxdale Estate, and Kwashi, they were all at some point our clients.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So 20 years of experience, and now she's sitting here with us on the Bukurus, talking to us. I'm excited about how to buy property.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the basics, right? When we see the Zambian property market, what are the things that you have noticed about the market, and where are we at currently? Yeah.
Okay, so there have been a lot of changes in the market.
Yeah.
And I think that the last 10 years, probably 10, 15 years, has been a time of rapid growth. So what I always like to explain to people is that the property market isn't one thing. It's so many different things. So there's so many different segments in the property market. If we take, for example, residential alone, that has the high end, it's got the mid-market, it's got the low end, it's also got a bit of mixed use in there. So what we've seen is a real, I would say, diversification of the market. Another thing that we've really seen is, I think, opportunities for a lot more people to get onto the property ladder. Yeah, so what we've seen is a lot of developments, people who had large pieces of land have subdivided them, so they're selling smaller lots, and that gives us the opportunity to buy property. So we don't have to have hundreds of thousands of kwachas or millions of kwachas and buy a big plot, or only buy a plot in a really A-grade neighborhood. Now we're seeing a lot of, I think, variety and a lot of choice, which I think is great.
Exactly.
But of course, more can be done. We still really need a lot more affordable housing.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's still challenges,
Yeah.
but I see so many opportunities.
Absolutely love it. So, with the challenges, what do you feel are the main challenges that you've seen currently as we've been, growing? I know the residential space has got a variety of opportunities for us to invest in, with low end, high end, all of that good stuff. But what are the challenges we've seen? I know there's a housing deficit, definitely.
Yes.
There's a housing deficit. We have too many people and not enough housing. So what do you feel like the challenges have been just from there as well?
Oh, there's so many challenges. So
Yeah.
one of the challenges is infrastructure, or
Yes.
what we like to call bulk services.
Okay.
So unfortunately, our local authorities and even government,
Right.
they haven't been able to invest in bulk services. So you find that for if you want to put a house on the market, you can't just put the house there. There has to be power, there has to be water, there has to be sewer reticulation, there has to be roads. So if government isn't going to do it, who's going to do it? It'll be a private developer.
Exactly.
They will come and say, okay, we've seen there's this gap. like you said, we have a housing deficit. We have people who want housing, who want land. Why don't we do a project where we bring all of these services? But what does that mean? It means that by the time they're putting a house on the market, it no longer is affordable.
Wow.
Yeah, it means that
Wow.
because of all of those services,
Yes.
it increases the cost on the price
Right.
of that house.
Yeah.
So, for so long as government is not willing to finance these bulk services, then we can forget about affordable
100%,
housing.
yeah.
Yes. So it's a question that I often get from people in the diaspora,
Right.
because they think that the properties we sell are so expensive, you know? And I'm like, but what are you comparing it with? Because you can,
Exactly.
sure, you can find a lot of cheap properties,
Right.
but chances are it's got no services. It probably doesn't even have a title deed. Yeah, so when that person, maybe a friend, a relative, is telling you, no, 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 don't buy Natasha's thing. I've got something much cheaper. And then you jump at it. You need to ask yourself, what does it come with?
What am I
Yes.
buying?
What am I buying? Yeah, so
I love that.
Yeah, so those are some of the challenges. we
So,
see.
like, just to explain bulk services for someone out there who's watching and they're like, bulk services, what's that? So, bulk services in a nutshell is your sewage,
Yes.
your garbage collection,
Yes.
your ZESCO connection,
Yes.
your
Not so much garbage, but
Okay.
it's your ZESCO,
ZESCO,
your water, your sewer, your roads.
even the sewer.
The sewer, Belia. Even the sewer.
How, one do. Things are tough.
Yeah, so things are
Wow.
tough.
So those are the main bulk services
Yes,
where it's
and
difficult.
those are expensive.
Very
Yeah,
expensive.
you can imagine those are things which
Yes.
local authorities, your municipality, government is supposed to do it. So for a private person, a private developer to do it, it's going to cost them a lot.
That's right.
And they're not doing it for free.
That's
You
right.
know, sometimes in Zambia, we like to think of profit as a dirty word. I see those comments, you know, in our videos. People are like, these people, they just want to exploit us. No, they're providing a service, and we should be willing to pay, because you are ultimately going to pay. You just have to decide if you want to pay for it in the land, in the estate, or, you know, the project that you're getting into, or if you're going to pay for it as an individual.
Word.
Because of course you're going to need water, you're going to need sewer, you're going to dig a soakaway, you're going to be there fighting with ZESCO for them to bring power to your plot. So you are ultimately going to pay.
You know, when they say cheap is expensive, cheap is expensive.
And cheap is hard.
cheap is hard.
And stressful.
So stressful, Natasha.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I love it. Okay, so those are the main challenges, right? I feel like just the bulk services in itself, as so let's look at like student accommodation.
Okay.
Right, because that's also a space where there's some challenges,
Yes.
but like a lot of opportunity.
Oh, yes.
And I know you're trying to invest in there as well.
Yes.
We also watch this space one day. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
What have you seen in that space?
So much potential
Right.
in that space, because we have a young population. It's a growing population. So I can't remember the statistics off the top of my head,
Yes.
but we have a very big chunk of our population that's young, that's
Yes,
growing.
yes.
And the other thing about student accommodation is, as you know, we've now had free education.
Oh,
so
love
we
it.
have more students
Yes.
who are being enrolled into school. So that's obviously going to lead to more students wanting tertiary education. So the opportunities are huge, and there's not enough bed space for them. In fact, I don't think there are even enough universities for them, let alone bed space.
Yeah.
So that's why, for me, student accommodation is a hot property sector
Love
right
it.
now. And like you said, one that I'll be investing in.
I love that. So, with all of the opportunities that we have with accommodation for students, housing for people who are willing to afford housing, and also just the opportunity to get into property itself, would you say serviced apartments are a great investment for anyone looking to come in and invest in Zambia?
I think serviced apartments is also a very good option.
Yeah.
The thing about serviced apartments is you want to be more discerning about your location.
Right.
Yeah. What are you going to be offering in terms of the location? Are there amenities nearby? Is it on a good road network, etc.?
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that you can't do well with serviced accommodation. It's somewhere that's a bit more remote, but then you have to offer that something special.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Why should people want to go out of their way to stay at your place? If it's a bit of a distance, is it the nature? Are you putting them in a really beautiful natural environment?
Right.
Are you offering them a kind of organic retreat for a few
Right.
days?
Yes.
So I think that property, I find you can be incredibly creative.
Yes.
And sometimes people are not, which surprises me. But whatever you're trying to do, you just have to be creative and put your own spin on it if you want it to work.
Love it. So serviced apartments are similar to Airbnb kind of setup as
Yes,
well. So it
yes.
needs to really be thought through
Yes.
with the things around that apartment
Yeah.
and what people are going to get out of it, right?
And also, yes, absolutely. One thing I should also say is with serviced apartments, people want service.
Yes.
Yeah, so you also have to be able to give them that really good service. That's what will attract them to you. So your cleaning services, your internet, security. Are there any special things that you can do for them? I've got a friend who does high-end serviced apartments, and she really goes all out for her clients. She makes them feel very welcome, very pampered, and they keep going back again and again. So that's what I would say as well
I
about
love
serviced
that.
apartments.
We need to know the friend of yours who does the high-end apartments.
So her name is Musebu Maligan. I actually did a video with her.
You did?
Yes, yeah. So you can just link to it
100%. Yes, please send me all of that.
in your description.
That would be great. Then our people can also see her
Yes.
services, and that would be amazing. So let's talk about scammers.
Yes.
Scammers, scamming around, scammerizing. Tell me, what has your experience been?
Every month I hear a story about a
Tell
scammer
us.
from someone who lives abroad. In
Wow.
fact, just today I was reading an email from
Yes.
someone who
Yes.
is one of our subscribers, and he was saying that I've tried so many times, but I keep getting my fingers burnt, so I'm not interested in investing back home. And I think that's so sad. Can you imagine, like, where you've given up on investing in your own country? So the
heartache.
scammers will be there. But I think it's really important to know the things, the red flags to look
What
out
are
for.
the red flags?
Yeah, so the red flags are putting you under pressure. Yeah, so they want you to act immediately. They're like, if you don't do this thing right now,
quick,
yes, quick, then you're going to lose out. And then, because you're so anxious for the opportunity, then you quickly commit yourself. The other thing is cash. Scammers will always insist on cash. And a property transaction should be done with traceable transfers.
Yes.
Yeah, not with cash, not by giving someone cash or sending Western Union, things like that. The other thing is that sometimes they won't want you to verify documents. So, if you tell them that, okay, can I see the original? Can I take it for verification? They'll really be reluctant to do that and to give you all sorts of excuses as to why it's not possible. So those are just some of the things that scammers will use. And they're very clever. They really play on your emotions.
Wow.
They can look you straight in the eye and they can lie to you. Yeah. So, and they'll come up with reasons like, oh, I have a small problem with the bank. Or, my account right now, it's got this, and that. I've got an overdraft. So if you transfer the money, it means all my money will be swallowed. So if you just give me the cash, then we can
Sort it out.
Yeah, we can sort it out.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are the things that you really need to be careful of. And also, unfortunately, from what I've heard from a lot of people in the diaspora, it's family members.
I was about to say that actually.
Yes.
Yes.
Usually it's family members. So, I always say that you need to be careful because sometimes a family member has a plan for your money, which you're not aware of. So, we have a lot of clients who say, oh no, my brother didn't really like that place that you showed him. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right, that's fine, because I can't get into people's personal relationships.
It's none of your business.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay, no, it's fine.
Yes.
So we had one client who, his brother told them this whole story about plots being sold by the council in a high-end area, and I was like, the council
Which
doesn't
council?
say exactly. And he sent like $10,000
Oh my gosh, not 10.
to his brother.
And then?
And then he never saw anything after that. He was being given stories. In fact, he was even told to send more money, which he did.
He did?
Yes, yes. So this is somebody who he knew me, I
Right,
knew him. We
right.
met when he came to Zambia. He has received a lot of our information. So when he told me what happened, I said, I'm sorry. I'm not even feeling sorry for you right now because I've given you information on this very thing that they did.
And yet.
Almost word for word. And yet you went for it.
Wow.
So he was lucky. He was one of the few people I know who managed to get his money back.
Really?
Yeah, most people are
They
not so
don't,
lucky.
yeah.
So you really need to be careful with family. And one thing I just want to say, Pelia, is that
Yes.
you know the way we're raised. Especially when you're getting married. You know, you're a married
Of
woman
course,
now.
yeah.
So you know the things they tell you when
Of
you're
course,
getting
yeah.
married to keep your marriage private. So sometimes you won't even know the problems your sister, your own sister, blood, same mother, same father, is going through. You won't know the problems your brother is going through.
That's true.
Or your cousin. You might not know. You think you know everything
That's
about
true.
them, but you don't know the problems they're having in their home.
That's true.
So as soon as you send that $5,000 or what,
you have sorted out someone's problem.
Exactly.
You didn't even know.
You didn't even know. You've sorted out that problem. Yeah. So those are some of the things I see all the time. And these are stories from clients. I don't make them up. Yeah.
Real life experience.
Real life. There's so many.
Wow.
So many I could give you.
And you know, I feel like one thing we really need to remember, especially as Zambians and Africans, is that family is not always the right choice to do business with, right? And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. It's not that you're not trusting them, you don't love them, you don't care for them. Business is business. And your
100%.
money that you've worked hard for, perhaps even working 16-hour shifts, especially some of us who come from Canada, 16-hour shifts back to back to back, and then someone comes and takes it to fix their household problems.
And you know, I think the thing is,
Yeah.
for our relatives, our
Right.
family who live here, they don't know how
No.
hard you have to work.
No.
They think it's very easy.
The money has just fallen.
Yeah, it's like this tree here. Then you're
You're
just
going to
picking.
collect a young avocado. Natasha, please.
You know,
Yes.
I saw this video actually on YouTube. I was sat in the hair salon, and you know how YouTube gets you into this vortex.
Yes.
So I saw this video about this girl. I think she was from Guinea. And her video was about why she stopped sending money back home.
Wow.
Because of these very same things, being scammed by her own relatives. And she noticed when she went home that her cousins who she was helping out were living a better life than her. Wow. Her with her 16, 20-hour shift work, her lack of sleep, her stress, just to find her cousins were changing their hair every other week, going out to the club, eating expensive food, drinking expensive drinks. She was like, what? Because when these people are texting me, calling me, it's like they're desperate. Like they're on the breadline. So she was like, I'm done.
Wow.
So, you know, those are just some of the things.
Like, it's so heartbreaking, but also we just need to be more aware and educate ourselves and really understand. I love how you've shared the red flags with us, the urgency, you know, being able to recognize that this is someone who just wants money quickly, right? And not someone who's trying to help me really invest. Property is about the long run. You need to take it nice and easy, step by step. It's not going to happen overnight, and you need to be very, very patient.
Yes.
So if you're not sensing that patience from someone, why?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we never do the hard sell. If there's only one plot left, we'll tell you there's only one. So if you really want it, then you need to act quickly. But we never do the hard sell. We always want the client to be in the driver's seat. The other thing that scammers often use, just to add to what you summarized so well, is very dirt cheap pricing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very low pricing. And unfortunately, so many of our friends in the diaspora get caught up in that, you know, because as Zambians, we love a good deal.
Oh, girl. Sign me up.
Yes,
Period.
I love a good deal.
What?
But
Yes.
where property has value.
It's got value.
Yes. So if
right.
you're seeing something that is so cheap, then it should make you question. But unfortunately, people are like, oh, I found this gem, you know? Yeah, I found a deal. It's a steal. And they're stealing your money. Yeah. So you really need to be careful about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So let's not be scared of the high prices that property has, especially when you do your research. And this was another question that my husband and I had, was that how do we evaluate the value of property and really just assessing like, okay, this property is worth this 300,000, for example, 300,000 kwacha or $30,000. How do we check that. So I love that we have the bulk services that we're looking at,
Yes.
the location as well, right? What else should we be looking at so that we can, like,
Yeah, so I think you've actually put it really well.
Okay.
The bulk services you
Yes.
want to look at, you want to look at the location as well, because obviously there's some areas that are more
Right.
expensive than others. The other thing you want to look at is it on title?
Wow, yes.
Title has value.
Oh, preach it.
Yeah,
It's the headache, the stress,
exactly.
the whole process of working through Ministry of Land. That place is
Exactly.
not cute.
No, it's not a joke. So if somebody has done that, you
Yes.
should know that comes with
Yeah.
value.
Word.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that's the other thing that you need to
Yes.
look out for. And then of course, if you do your research, you can just go online and see what other properties in that area are going for.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have a property index.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I know it
yes.
is a challenge to know
Mm.
that, okay, is this really a fair price and things
Yes.
like that. So you have to do that research on your own. You have to go online and see, okay, for a house in this area or a plot in this area, what am I seeing? What's the general range? Yeah, and you will see a wide range, of course,
Yes.
even in the
Yes.
same area. But at least it'll start to give you a sense of what you can expect. Also, there's no harm if you have a valuer to give you an estimate. You know, they don't have to go to site and actually do a whole valuation report
Right.
because that's a cost. But you can say to them, okay, a plot of this size in this area with these services, what would you think that
The cost would
yeah,
be.
the cost would be? Yeah,
Wow.
there's no harm in doing that.
I love that. I think that's what we did when we were buying in Mikango. We literally went on Facebook and we checked
Yes.
plots in Mikango.
Yeah.
How much are they? This
There you
size.
go.
And we saw the average price was what we were paying for. So we were like, okay, great.
Great.
So this
Yeah.
makes sense. And
Makes
we
sense.
are like, we're such researchers. You will not catch us making any choice without doing proper research and checking our facts, checking what's going on, so that even when we enter into the space of saying, okay, we want to buy this property, we're confident and we're calm. Confident and calm, especially
Yeah.
property is too sensitive for you to be rushed.
Yes.
Just relax.
And I love that. I
Yeah.
think it's such a good point to emphasize the
Yes.
fact that you weren't rushing, the fact that you did your homework, and that you were calm, you were of one mind. There was
Yes.
no one trying to, no, I love that.
Mm-mm.
And I hope that your viewers really take that into account.
I agree. Thanks, girl. Okay, so I think another thing that I want us to look at as we kind of put it all together and just kind of solidify, what would you advise someone? Obviously, I've already said what I've said with being calm and confident. What would you advise someone that's wanting to buy property home? And this is a Zambian wanting to buy property in Zambia, or even someone from Nigeria wanting to invest in Zambia. How would you advise them to go about it? What are the things they should look at? And what's the best way to approach it? So we can look at maybe for the Zambians and then for the Africans as well.
Okay, all right. So actually, I think I would address it for both.
Yeah.
I would say, the first thing is just be clear on your objectives.
Yes.
What do you want to invest
Exactly.
in? Commercial, real, residential, logistics, warehousing. Just be clear on that. That's the first point that I would say. The second thing is to do your research, like you just talked about. You really need to understand what's going on in the market, what are the prices, what are the ranges, and of course, if you're thinking of a bigger project or spending, quite a handsome sum, then there's no harm in getting a professional to do market research for you.
Yes.
So the research is very important. The third thing that I would say is a due diligence. So when you do find that ideal property,
Right.
it meets your objective, it's looking good, it's within a price that you can afford, then you want to make sure that you're not going to fall for a scam, that it does have title deeds, and of course you can find somebody who can do a due diligence. We offer that service as well.
Love it.
If people are interested in a property but they're not quite sure,
Exactly.
then they can ask us to do a due diligence,
Love
and
it.
we'll do that for them. And then the fourth thing that I would say is find a lawyer. It's so key.
Hi, Natasha. Self plug. I love it.
Self-plug.
I love it.
But it doesn't need to
I
be
agree.
me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
But it's
agree.
really important. These are, like you've said so often during this discussion, buying property is a serious business. It's a long-term investment. It costs a lot of money. You don't want to be winging it. You know, you don't want to be Googling a contract or things like that, or asking somebody, give me the contract you used and I'll use the same one. You really want to have that professional advice.
Love it.
And your lawyer will do so much for you.
Exactly.
In fact, your lawyer can even do the due diligence.
Right.
They're supposed to. Your lawyer will be able to advise you on the steps. They will protect your interests.
Yes.
And they will also do what I think I'm coming to now, the fifth point,
Yes.
which is your documentation.
Yes.
Contracts. I have seen so many people buy property based off
Word of
an
mouth.
email.
An
Yeah,
email.
an email. You're talking about
Don't
word of
do
mouth.
that.
Emails. People have said, "Oh, I bought this property. Can you help me? Now it's all gone pear shaped." And I say, "Send me the documents." They send me an email. I'm like, "What is this?"
You go through a lot.
Yeah. And I'm not a magician. I can't
Yes.
perform miracles.
No, girl. No.
Yeah, so
Mm.
make sure you've got your contract in place. That's the document that's going to protect your
Love
interests.
that.
Yeah. And then the last thing I would say, Beria, is get your title deeds. When you finish paying for that property, the process doesn't stop there. I've seen a lot of clients who they go through this whole process. And, you know, it's not an easy process. You know, I'm sure you know.
Oof.
It takes time to find the
Yes.
property you want. And then
Yes.
finally you've bought it and you're like, oh, thank
Thank
God.
God.
They just start building. No,
No,
please don't do
relax.
that.
Yes.
For me, I guess being a lawyer, I'm always so particular about
The
having
details.
a title deed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's when the transaction ends. So
Yes.
even when we work with our clients, we work with them up until that point. It's not about the sale. It's about making sure this person is really the proprietor. They're the registered owner. If someone goes to Ministry of Lands, their name is going to be there.
Exactly.
So that's what I would say. Those are the important
Beautiful.
things.
Beautiful. Natasha, you are a gift. Let me tell you. And the information that you share is so digestible and easy to understand. And a lot of people shouldn't take it for granted. I think that's the best way to put it, especially because the space we're in Zambia with property is very lucrative, but also very sensitive.
Yes.
And you
very
being able
true.
to share this information, I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
Shout out
Welcome.
to our humans who are also watching you. And obviously, this is not the last time you're seeing Natasha. We're going to have you back again.
I
feel
can't wait.
You know, we need to talk about traditional land.
Oh,
and
gosh. Yes. Oh.
We'll talk about traditional land and what that looks like.
Yes. There's so much to say about that.
Exactly. I think that's a whole video on its own.
Yes.
But yeah, so thank you so much. Where can people find you? Buying Property Zambia and also your personal page.
Okay, so we're on Buying Property in Zambia on all of our social media platforms. That is LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, but we don't do much on X. So yeah. So the best place to find both of us, myself and Buying Property in Zambia, Diaspora Connect, is on LinkedIn and Instagram. We're very active on those two platforms.
Very, very active. And they have a website.
Yes, of course. We've got a website, which is also www.buyingpropertyinzambia.com. Very easy to remember.
Very easy. I mean, you will find all these links in the description down below, but it's good for you to also say them so that people can see. I am so grateful for this interview. Thank you for your knowledge and wisdom. It was so
welcome. And it was great to see you and hang out again.
I know, right? Guys, it's nice. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend that needs to buy property in Zambia. Comment down below where you're watching from so that we can say what's up. Thank you once again and see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.